What happened was when I first started writing, I thought all stories came from outside of one. Why would they want to know about, I don't know, my going to Catholic school and being chased by maniacal nuns with boards, you know? What was that a story? I didn't know what a story was because most of the stories that we read come from so far outside of identifiable people. And it's called creative writing when you're writing poetry, when you're writing plays, when you're writing novels, fiction, because you are allowed to exaggerate. You're allowed to stretch the truth. You're allowed to lie. You're allowed to discard the happening truth for story truth. Driving a girl whose father loathed me, son of an Italian who labored on the open hearth, I crossed in a borrowed green Comet the PA line into Wheeling. 18 was legal in West Virginia, Marlboros and 3-2 beer at the Hilltop on a street with holes. I grew up intensely Italian. We lived in a little Italy called East Liberty. It's a neighborhood in Pittsburgh. Everybody had pasta on Sunday up and down the street. Everybody's dad was a bricklayer, a cement finisher, steel worker. Folks had their grandparents living with them. You heard broken English all the time. There were Italian restaurants and Italian bars, and I thought everybody was Italian. And so that informs my life in a lot of ways, just like I hear that, the Italian language. I hear broken English in my head when I'm writing. Half of my books are set in Pittsburgh, but the other half are set in North Carolina. I came to North Carolina in 1976 as a Vista volunteer. I'd just gotten out of graduate school, so I just threw my name into the hat, and Vista, which stands for Volunteers in Service to America, was Domestic Peace Corps, and I was just randomly sent to North Carolina and worked in the North Carolina prison system. I also met my wife, a young woman named Joan Carey from Georgia, who was assigned to the same project. We became inseparable almost from day one. We ended up marrying in October of 1977. It changed our political, social, and I would say spiritual agendas forever by being around those people. The bloodhounds were caged in a skirmish of wire lots, same wire that penned the convicts along the left field line of the Salisbury Camp softball field in Rowan County. So here's what kind of person they are. They're poor and uneducated. That's what it is. We're not better than them. You know, we're not of a higher spiritual realm. They just have had horrifying lives, you know. I try to pay attention to class and how we treat people, you know, having sort of felt at one time maybe like I was on the other side of the tracks, you know. And I think it's real good to be able to go and hang out on both sides of the tracks, you know. Anson County is my default southern place when I start thinking about writing about place in the South. I'm always in my head in Anson County, and it's fictionalized St. John's County after, no secret, my wife's name's Joan. So, and it's also my first crack at writing about the South. It's my first book set in the South. Abandoned farmsteads, the last crop corn give out haggard by late July, left to hang into Advent, down by the PD, the Ingram plantation where Andrew Jackson stopped to have his hair cut by a slave girl. When I was appointed the Poet Laureate of North Carolina in 2012, I was asked to declare a signature project. So I said that I would work with all veterans really and their families to help harvest their stories through poetry, fiction, personal essay. I got a call from a fellow named Bruce Kelly, a primary care physician at the Asheville VA Medical Center. I've worked very closely with a cohort of Vietnam veterans with PTSD, and we've launched a creative writing group up there, and the idea here is that you control the memory or the memory controls you. So it's been profoundly important work, life-changing for me.